Hey man, Hebron Ben Bilal coming back at you with this boomer logic. Hey man, out here doing my thing, hustling, busting, doing my 1-2 thing. But I wanted to come with a word of wisdom to y'all this morning, man. Before I really got my day underway and before it gets too hot and I got to turn the AC on and I'm not going to be able to be heard, I just want to drop something on y'all, man, and give you a little backstory about some things. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 23 talks about that Yahweh tells the children of Israel that they are not to sell the land perpetually or forever. That the land that they are being given, each family, because you got to understand when the Israelites went into the land, came out of Egypt and went into the land, they were told the land was divided up by family. Moses divvied the land up. Yahweh told him exactly how to do it. Moses called Yahweh called forward a representative from each household, and the land was divvied up to each household in accordance to the number of people that they had in the household. So before I get into why I'm gonna tell you that, man, if you haven't already, man, go to Boomer's Logic, subscribe to the page, Hebron Ben Bilal, Boomer Logic. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, man. For y'all, for those of you who have already subscribed and went on and decided to subscribe and follow me, man, I appreciate it. And I'm just going to continue to come out with this content, man. So I'm going to tell you one of the shortcomings of the boomer generation. We didn't buy enough land. As blacks, we didn't buy enough land. We were big on real estate, buying up real estate, stock market and stuff like that, pretty much like we are today. But we didn't secure and buy up enough land. The reason that Yahweh pointed out to Israel that the land that they have is never to be sold perpetually, that it will always be assigned to that family, and no matter if they lease it out, if they rent it out, whatever they do with their land, portions of it, it's up to their discretion what they could do with it, but forever it could not be sold from that family, because that, number one, anchors the family down to their native land, which is Israel. So if they go abroad, come back, they always have a place. Number two, land is actually generational wealth. It always gives you something that you can lease, that you can rent off of, that you can allow people to build on, whatever the case is, whatever the case may be. And once again, like I say, that is a shortcoming of the boomer generation, that we did not buy up enough land. We didn't go in and secure land like we should have. And I'm gonna tell you, when in that crack era, when we was making all that money, you know what I'm saying, doing all that stuff, we didn't go secure land. All these major athletes who are out here, they don't go and secure land. They go and buy properties. Now, I'm gonna tell you a story. One day I was down here in Columbus, Georgia, and I was looking at some commercial property because I wanted to open up a little restaurant initially when I first come home. And I still want to get land, but I'll tell you why. And I'm sorry once again for moving this camera because, like I say, this is a tablet. But anyway, I digress, man. I got to get a stand. But when I was looking at the land, I was looking at the this particular commercial property. It was a little dilapidated. I knew I had to do some repairs, but I was going to go in and I was going to get it. And out the blue, this white guy walks up to me. Had a little swagger about him, you know what I'm saying, was dressed real nice. And he walks up to me out of nowhere and he says, "Hey, listen, forget about," this is what he literally says to me out of nowhere, comes up to me and said, "Forget about the structure, buy the land. Buy the land that it's sitting on." It was probably on maybe 2 lots, 3 lots, but of land. And he said, "Buy the land." And he walks off. And I thought about that for quite some time. But even though I wanted to buy land, I did not really understand the importance of commercial, like lots, plots, and things of that nature in commercial residences and areas. Forgive me, I'm working at the same time. So I didn't understand the importance of these particular things because, once again, that always gives you the ability to maximize your financial portfolio. What do I mean? If you got lots like in a commercial area and someone wants to build a Wendy's, somebody wants to build a McDonald's, somebody wants to build a gas station, whatever, phone shop, whatever, on that property, guess what? You get paid. You don't sell the property perpetually. You do not sell it. You hold on to it. You keep it. You hold on to it because it's always going to have value. The one thing that they are not making more of is land. And I'm sure you heard of that. And this is one of the reasons that Yahweh told the children of Israel, hey, listen, you don't have the ability to sell the land perpetually, because you'll sell it to outsiders and you'll do all kind of stuff. And pretty soon you'll have outsiders living amongst you. You'll have other Israelites who have monopolized all the land, and, you know, one family owning half of Israel and stuff like that, which was a no-no. He rationed it out to each individual family, and each family was made to keep that perpetually. And that was a good thing, because that established that family, that anchored that family not only to Israel, made it their home, but also it gave them the ability to continue to accumulate generational wealth. This is important, man. I have a saying in my life. I say that if I don't intend on doing anything about it, I don't speak on it. So I don't just sit around and gossip like a whore about stuff and just talk about stuff if I have no intent on changing my reality. So when I sit here and talk to you guys about these things, I have a plan. I mean, I have a plan. I had a plan since I came out of prison, but I had to continue to readjust and shape and redo my plan. But I'm starting to realize the importance of land. And that was one of my major plans. And if anybody knows me, that was one of my major plans. By the time I reached a certain age, I wanted to have at least 10 acres of land, with the arable land that I could grow my own produce on, and also raise my own livestock. A lot of you call it what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. It's homesteading. A lot of you call it homesteading right now, right? So this is what I intend on doing, but I intend on turning mine into a place where not only individuals who are like-minded, hence Israel, could move to with me, and we could continue to expand that 10 acres. But I also wanted to make a safe place for individuals who were coming home from prison to have the opportunity to settle down, have the opportunity to settle down, have a trailer or something there, because I understand the perils and pitfalls that we face once we come home from prison. And this is one of the other reasons I wanted to have land, as well as to make sure future generations of my family members have something tangible that they can look towards if they ever fall on hard times. And this is why Yahweh once again said never to sell the land perpetually. You can't, because you never know what might occur in your lineage down the line. You know, so this is an important thing, man, because we're investing our money in this. Millennials, don't be like boomers in this instance. And I see most of you being like us, where you're running out and you're spending $200,000, $300,000 on cars and jewelry and stuff like that, man, when the first thing you should do is anchor your family down, because this helps you to establish generational wealth. What it does is it always ensures that your family has something that they can tangibly have. If they need to bug out, if they need to get out of the city, if they need to, if all else fails, everything falls from underneath them, they have this that they can fall back on. And it's important, man, because here's what most of us are doing. Most of us are flocking to buying these houses for $5, $6, $7 million, but that house is not yours. You just really, actually, all you're doing is renting that space, because at any given time, the government can come and snatch it right from underneath you. Whereas land, it's not so. The government can come and snatch it from underneath you for tax purposes and so on and so forth. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, they can do the same for land. No, there's a way around that. And if you investigate, you'll find out quickly that there is a way around property taxes being a landowner. And I know a lot of you will see this video and say, well, how did you research it? I don't even have enough time to explain it to you, but it has a lot to do with the sovereignty laws. So understand that they know about these things, but they will never educate you. Now, in closing, I want to tell you this. I'm going to tell you how important land ownership is. The first thing that Europeans did when they went to these different continents was what? They didn't go in and ask the people, hey, listen, do you guys got some tents or teepees that we can rent out? Do you have some? No, the first thing they went and did was secure land. That is the first thing they did. They went and staked the claim and said, this is our land right here because nobody else is occupying it. Nobody else is using it. Nobody else is occupying it. They did it here. They did it in Africa. They did it in all other parts of the world. This is what they did because nobody was staying there. They staked their claim. Now, I'm going to show you a real interesting thing. This is how important land is, and they know how important land is because it's a perpetual thing that can always anchor your people to a certain place and always provide them with a place to go, provide them with finances, whether they need to lease it, rent it, etc. One of the things they did when they got here, they had this thing, I can't remember what it was called, but like they would go to different areas in this country and people would line up and they would race. They would like put a stake in the ground and they would race, they would run, and they would slam the stake out to another spot. And then if a person slammed the stake before you got there, you had to redirect and go to this place. And then you marked out your territory and it became yours. You didn't have to, it literally became yours. And that's how they did it. Because, and people did it all over because they understood the importance of the land. We have to get back to generational wealth, man. We have to get back to that. And in the scriptures, Yahweh teaches us how important the land is. Look at Abraham. Abraham was a very wealthy landowner. The reason that he was wealthy is because he had the means to provide for all the livestock he had, all the people that he had following him. He had the means to do that because he had great swaths of land. Now, you got to remember, he didn't go down there and kick anybody off the land. When he got there, there were certain parts down there in Canaan that were, nobody was occupying. And these are the places that he would have occupied, even though it was given to him by Yahweh. He told him, look out to this way, look out this way, look out this way. This is all belongs to you and your future generations. And this was important because you see that him and his nephew Lot had gained so much finance. They had become so wealthy that they had to separate because of the great amount of cattle and everything that they had accumulated, the people and all that stuff, because they were constantly feuding over space. And this is what's important because this is how you establish and grow wealth. Because as long as you have room to grow, this is how you grow your wealth. This is how you grow your financial portfolio. And a lot of you, once again, I don't poo-poo you all who get into the stock market, things of that nature, to generate finance, but to establish true wealth and to anchor you to something tangible, physical, because there's no respect when it comes to numbers in a computer because they can just wipe that out. So you think just because your bank account got all these O's, they can wipe you out overnight, period. I mean, all you got to do is look back in history, and I know a lot of you going to say, oh, man, that was back then, where they just closed banks and walked away. These were financial institutes that people had money in. But once again, they can do that here today, right now. Currency always changes. Currency always changes. The value depreciates and goes up. It goes down and then inflates. It goes down. This is why you can be wiped out in a heartbeat. This would what happened with the Great Depression. They were wiped out in a heartbeat. But people who owned the land, people who had that anchorage, people who had that security, they didn't have to worry about those things. This is how many families survive these fiascos, because they had an alternative, an alternative source to fall back on. And we have to start to provide, millennials, this opportunity for those who will come behind you, your grandkids, your kids, to have the same opportunity to have that wealth, not riches, because riches come and go, man. Like $1 million can be blown overnight. But when you have that anchorage, when you have that land, it starts and can establish so many things. But my plan is by 52 to have me. This is why I'm out here doing my thing. This is why I have the businesses, and I still come out here to add on to the financial structure that I have, because I want 10 acres of land. I want a water source. I want to be able to provide a safe place and start to establish a place where like-minded people who see the tomfoolery that goes on in this society, that can see where this society is going to, how it actually infringes on your rights to worship and honor Yahweh the way that you truly should, who can see that and want to retreat to a safer place just to do this. And this is one of my main reasons for doing it. Not only for generational wealth, but my first point is to make sure that we all, as people who are like-minded, have a place to retreat to when times get really rough, because it's getting ready to get rougher. It's getting ready to get rougher. And this is why I say, don't complain about it if you don't intend on doing anything about it. You can sit here and complain and hoop and holler and kick and moan and bitch all day long about how society is, how women are, and women is this, and black men is that. But at the end of the day, all y'all gonna do is go back and forth across the table. If you want things to change, if you want things to fit how you want them to be, go buy you some land. Set up your own structure on that land. That way you can get around all that. That makes it just easy. But I understand. We like the ability to sit around and bemoan our state and give our time, energy, and resources to those that we believe they can elevate us out of this state. Well, I'm going to point at one particular example where y'all thought that this particular organization was going to elevate you above or help you to start to be elevated above police brutality, racism, systemic racism, all that. Black Lives Matter. But as soon as you put all your resources, energies into that, what they do? They went and bought them some land. Yeah, they went and bought, some real estate. That's what they went and did. They went and took their money and started doing other stuff. All you have to do is it's an interview with the one who's being accused of, which she did, not accused of, she went and bought all that property, where she tells that out of all them millions and millions, I think it's 90 million, almost $1 billion, that they only donated 3 million. Come on, man, what are they doing with the rest of your resources and your funds? But see, this is my thing. Stop bitch moaning and complaining and pointing at the issue and look for a solution. And that's what I tell my daughter all the time. That's what I tell my wife. That's what I tell people around me. Stop complaining and pointing at the problem. Now start to source out a solution. What is the solution to everything that really, really hamstrings us? A solution is that you continue to suck on the tit of this system. You continue to lean on this system for help. Disassociate, disconnect yourself from this system. Go set you up yourself, get you 10, 15, 20 acres of land. Few families move on there and expand from there. Create your own buckhead. Create your own areas where you can grow. There's a spot called Bexley. It's called Bexley. It's in Columbus, Ohio. It's a suburb. It hasn't changed since I was 16, since I was 15, since I started to realize what Bexley was. It hasn't changed because that's a community that like-minded people went and pooled their resources, bought it, and it hasn't changed. One thing about Bexley, you get caught speeding in there, or you get caught in that community and you don't have an issue, you don't have a business being over there, you probably either you're getting a ticket or you're going to jail. So these are the areas that you also can obtain, where you can have your own rules. You don't like men acting a certain way, put those rules in there. You don't like women acting a certain way, put those rules in there. But see, we sit and we scratch, bitch, and moan and complain about everything, but we have no end game solution. Conversations are good, but at the end of the day, if you're just talking and there's no true resolution, what is the end game? What is the resolution to all the bitching, all the complaining? If there's no end game, all you're doing is just sitting around gossiping like a bunch of whores. So at the end of the day, man, I just want to come with this piece of knowledge for you, man, and show you there's land out there waiting, man. And if you don't see the writing on the wall, and I'm not a prophet, I'm not about to speak anything prophetic, but if you can't see the handwriting on the wall, the way this society, this country is headed, man, listen, you're absolutely blind. You know what I'm saying? Or you have blinded yourself, or they blinded you to the facts that are right in front of you. But man, I digress. I don't want to take up too much of your time this morning, but man, pull your resources, Start to secure land, start to build structures on it, the things that you want, the things that can help you to flourish. Have a business plan. Have a plan of attack when you move in there. Where's your livestock going to be? Where is your water source? What are you going? What type of solar energy are you going to have? Or what? These are the things that we all, especially you boomers, really need to start thinking of, because your generation is getting money hand over fist. I've never seen anything like it before, to the point where you're sticking rubies and crap in your forehead. Millions and millions of dollars, you just stick it in your head for no apparent reason. Take that money, secure you some land, man. You could have took $5 million of that and secured you one heck of a piece of land in a beautiful area. Land, not a house, land, man, where you could build your dream house on that land, and you can secure and make your own community around the house. Man, but I digress. I can sit and talk about this particular topic forever. But like always, man, I'm gonna close out here. Just wanted to come on this thing this morning, give you a little wisdom. Let's get, man, love y'all all. Y'all know what it is. It's Boomer Logic with Hebron Ben Malal, man, giving wisdom to those wise boomers. And because of the fact that you millennials don't know how to think, I just gave you an opinion. Love you and see you again soon.